Welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
And absent, we need God. Because only God can bring us out of this mess.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. So early voting starts this Thursday. And we hope that you know who you're voting for here in the state of Maryland, that is. For governor, attorney general, and comptroller. There are also some down ballot races that we are watching, including one for sheriff of Baltimore City and also the state's attorney of Baltimore City. That state's attorney's race also in Baltimore County will be one to watch. But today, before we get into some politics, we're going to talk to our dear compadre from Northwest Baltimore County, Mr. Dark Burnett. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Glover. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. What you do yesterday?
Got up early in the morning, played a little golf, and just relaxed.
So yesterday the nation celebrated its independence.
Yeah.
Independence from the British.
Yeah.
You know, Derek, when we talk about that, and of course they say the victors write history. But with a little bit of digging, we come to find out that America, now while Britain is the country that we as a nation separated from.
What the heck keep going on?
The British sent people across the Atlantic, but what we, ignore or don't talk about is that the Spanish were here first. The French were up in Canada. The Spaniards went all through South America. Doc, we hear some. Is there another show playing?
And you can hear that?
Yeah, we can hear that, man.
I'm sorry. Let me put that on mute.
Okay. So I'll just mention it that, like, if you go to New Orleans, for instance, downtown New Orleans, there are all kinds of artwork, historical art, structures, which show the influence of the Spanish, the French, as well as the British here in the United States. Okay, so on that note, and I've shared it on the show before, Juan Garrido, out of Misplaced for Book. Juan Garrido was the first black man that I've read about that stepped foot on the United States. And Juan Garrido was not a slave. He was a Spanish conquistador. Now, I've since learned that Juan Garrido was a slave of his damn self.
Wow.
But it certainly changes our perception, and probably most Americans' perception, of what was going on at that time. When the Spanish sent and the Portuguese sent Christopher Columbus across the Atlantic, and we don't talk about this much. He had some Moors. He had some Moors who showed him the way. So Christopher Columbus couldn't have discovered anything because at best he was a Johnny come lately. It wasn't like Spain and Portugal had gone across the Atlantic prior to that point. The Africans who built the first ships had touched these lands hundreds of years ago. As a matter of fact, out in the Las Vegas, in the Nevada desert, there's a discovery called Kincaid's Cave. If you dig in that cave, you'll find Egyptian artifacts. And that explains or helps explain why they have the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas shaped like a pyramid. You ever wonder about that? Like, why they got this Egyptian theme out there? Because the Egyptians been there. But we don't learn this in American history. We just learn about Black people as slaves, Roots, Kunta Kinte, Toby, Chicken George, Kizzy, and Fiddler.
Well, that's why they call it his story. That's not our story.
Ain't a story. That's a guy. That's a lie. Anyway, big ups to Dr. Tyrone Taborn and his wife.
Yes,
they're over in Dubai right now. They just landed in Dubai.
Wow.
The show is brought to you in part by STEM City USA. Doug, what's going on with your headwear?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's my camera. It's making it look like it's crooked. And it don't feel that way, but don't worry about it. Let's keep it moving.
Maybe you have a lopsided head there.
No.
Okay. Hey, what's happening with baseball out Liberty Road?
Man, local baseball's over.
Man, when we played Little League, man, the championship was in August.
Well, they don't do that no more. And you know what dictates and regulates that? These parents. These parents, once school is over, these parents want to take these kids out of school and go on vacation.
They don't put them on the team.
They're not letting the baseball league dictate and regulate their vacation schedule.
Brother, is it true that Howard University has an all-white baseball team?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. I don't even know if they got baseball anymore, but most of the HBCU programs are run by white coaches and they recruit white players. And that's another subject for another time. Realistically, I want to talk about our community approaching the NCAA in a class action lawsuit, because the NCAA is in control of the amount of scholarships that are allowed for baseball players. You got a team of 32 players on a team. NCAA only allows 11.5 scholarships per team. Now, if a young brother has a choice and he's athletic enough to play football, baseball, basketball, baseball, and the university is going to give him a full scholarship to play football, but then to play baseball, well, I'm sorry, young brother, we can only give you half a scholarship. What sport do you think he's playing?
So are you saying it's an effort to block Black Americans from playing baseball?
I honestly believe that.
Well, it's nothing to believe. It's probably factual.
And it's not hard to look up.
After all that Kurt Flood did to help everybody make some money, this is the thanks we get in America.
Right.
And so I want to say something. Billy Murphy said it so exquisitely the other day. When we talk about white people on the show, we're not talking about the decent white people.
Right.
In my book, you really got to buy the book. We talk about Captain John Brown. He's one of my heroes. We're talking about the racist element that doesn't have respect for other people. That's what we're talking about. Like the people that get scholars, they lie. Remember that woman? She lied to get a scholarship. Famous woman. Lied to get her daughter into some famous school.
Out of UCLA, yeah, and USC, yeah. It was a whole bunch of them.
But you want to lock up a Black mother because she moved her child into a better school system.
Right. Yeah.
She wasn't stealing anything. She's trying to get a better education for her child.
Right.
This is how they treat the people whose ancestors breastfed their ancestors.
Mm.
The most man, some of the most ungratefulness I've ever seen in my life. The pilgrims, they come over here to the Indians. Indians show them how to eat. What do? Give them smallpox. Who does that? That's not decent. That's not a decent human being.
That's greed, man. It's
That's
all
a
about
savage.
greed.
It's a savage.
Hey, well, you know what? That's the same depiction.
These same savages that were climbing the walls of the Capitol during January 6th. Savages. What more do you want, son? They gave you land. They gave you money. They gave you a business. And that's what baffles me about the addicts in my alley that don't fit the majority demographic of Sandtown. What in the hell is their excuse?
Mm.
And still come down here and want to call us the N-word.
Mm.
The addicts. They get their dope, their coke, and then they go back to the University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins, wherever else they work. Then our people go down university and we get treated like we in Guantanamo Bay. Now, again, we're not talking about all. You can't say all black people are good. There's some black people I like to push right in the harbor. Standing on my corners 8, 9, 10 hours a day doing absolutely nothing. Hey, Derek, so I was talking about Tyrone Taborn.
Yes, sir. U.S. Black engineer.
What's it like being an engineer, Derek?
Man, it's a beautiful thing because you get to execute and participate in a profession that you have a love and a skill set that you develop. One that you developed when you was a young child. You had the initial makings of an engineer as a youngster. It was just that somebody saw that in me and directed me as a young person as to what it is I should do for a career. And that somebody for me was my mother. You know, my mother, very smart woman, still alive today. She used to babysit me by drawing. My mother was an artist. She could draw. Okay. So what she would do, she would draw something for me and say, okay, Derek, you go sit down over here and draw to see if you could draw this. And it would take me a half hour, 45 minutes to do something that she would do in 5 minutes. And that was her way of babysitting me. She could get stuff done while I was trying to reproduce what it is she had given me to reproduce graphically. So anyway, long story short.
You're saying your mama dropped the seeds in you on drawing.
That's right, early in life. So I would ask her, I said, well, Mom, what can I do in drawing that will allow me to make a living? She said, well, son, you could be an architect. I said, really? I said, well, what does an architect do? She said, architect design buildings. I said, that's what I want to do. So that's what I always pursued. That's what I always kept in my mind. That's what I always kept in my spirit. Even though I had family members, older family members, because see, my mother and father were both the youngest children in their families. So when we would go to family reunions and picnics, they would always ask, hey, little D, what you going to do when you grow up? I'm going to be an architect. They look at me and laugh. Oh, man, ain't no black architects. It's no way you going to be an architect.
Let's stop right there. Is that the truth?
That's the truth, Roof.
No. Is it the truth that there were no black architects?
No, none that they knew of.
Time out. They didn't know much history.
Right.
Everybody has the work of a black architect. Most everybody in America has one in their pocket, has evidence of a black architect. Amen?
Amen.
If you have a dollar bill in your pocket, What's on the back of that dollar bill?
The White House.
The pyramid, son.
Oh yeah. You're right. Pyramids. You're right. So anyway, you're right. Their lack of education.
But also, there are plenty of black architects around. Now, I know you're a county cat, but I went to Baltimore Polytechnic Institute for the first 2 years of my life. And not only are there black architects, a lot of them are women.
That's true.
Okay, but I messed up your story. Go ahead.
You did, but it long story short, I believe that I understood that, and I maintained that thought, and I pursued it, and that's what I do today. So
Well, you got a lot of books behind you, like you're smart or something.
now those reference books, those are books that I've always used and I've always read. Man, I got a serious library over here. You know, it's all about the knowledge. And speaking of which, today, on a historical perspective, an educational perspective, July the 5th is the 170th anniversary of Frederick Douglass's speech. What does the 4th of July mean to me as a slave?
What to the slave is the 4th of July? Frederick Douglass.
What to the slave is the 4th of July?
That's one long speech.
It's a long speech, but man, I get the 5 minutes of it that you need to hear. And for those of you who haven't heard it, go to YouTube. Take 5 minutes, listen to it. Those 5 minutes.
I got another question for you. What to the American woman is the 4th of July, 2022? Forget all of the history.
No, we can't forget the history, but I understand where you go.
No, all of the history aside, because people want to get cancel culture. They don't want the proof, the truth about slavery and what white people and black people did to black people. They want to forget all about that, which is dumb. But all of that to the side, they just set women back 50 years in this country.
Sure did.
They set women, including white women, back 50 years. Now, all this time, we thought the white man was making progress, and we're talking about those races. We're not talking about decent white people. We thought the white man was making progress. We see him making films where he reveres his daughter, but he just slapped this woman down. He told this woman, "You're gonna have this baby, and if you don't, you're going to jail." Now, the truth is, black women will get criminalized more than white women. And black women will die more than white women as a result of this legislation, according to the doctors.
I think their whole law is an attempt for them to try to save their race.
Okay.
Because they know they're not going to be the majority in 2050. They're going to be the minority.
I think it's going to happen before 2045. I think it's about now.
Yeah, it's getting close.
And I tell you what, even with this election for governor, you've only had white males as governors of the state of Maryland, correct?
Correct.
It's time for a change. Black people sway any election in the state of Maryland. It's time for a change.
I believe it. Same thing with the comptroller.
Same thing with the attorney general.
Same thing with a lot of positions. But
Baltimore County has never had anybody but a white male in charge. Mary Bubala didn't ask that question when she asked the mayoral candidates about black women mayors. She ain't say nothing about the long line of only white males who have been county executive, including Kevin Kamenetz, who had more issues than we thought he had.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, but the thing is, Donnie, when we get these brothers or sisters in office, they got to come in office and make a stand, not just be in office. They got to have a purpose for being in office. like the infamous Marion Barry, like the infamous Maynard Jackson, you know,
They
like
set the gold standard on public service for black people.
public service and economic empowerment. You look at those cities. You look at Atlanta.
In
Without
Atlanta,
that,
they have the expectation that a black person is in charge, large and in charge with equity ownership. Don't be giving us no damn subcontracts. We want primes and primes only.
right. So you got to have brothers and sisters in there that's gonna stand up for us, you know. And I think we've lost that. We've had some black people in positions of political power, but they haven't done anything to stand up above and beyond for our
No, it's
community.
go along to get along, just like them damn firecrackers last night. I'm in rounds upon rounds upon rounds upon rounds of firecrackers. And these are all black people. The same sons of guns that won't go to a damn PTA meeting. I don't want to hear no more excuses about 60s passing. I don't hear none of that crap about everybody ain't made for college. Everybody and their mother popped the firecracker last night in this neighborhood.
Well, mine wasn't excluded.
Huh?
Mine was not excluded, and I was sitting in here the whole time.
The same ones that won't go to a PTA meeting, won't go to a community meeting, but they popping firecrackers. I have no pity for them.
I was sitting in here thinking,
Hey, pick up your damn trash. Look, them things that go off in the air, leave trash. Go pick your crap up.
Yeah, they don't, man. They don't go to
Nasty.
the trash. We got the same issues out here. But my issue was they firing off firecrackers celebrating the independence that wasn't even theirs. Black people
That's
were
the other thing.
in
You weren't
1776.
free.
We weren't free. So why are y'all
Now,
celebrating? That's
there
a lot.
were some black people who were not slaves. I want to say this.
Yeah, well, it wasn't many.
You have not done the count. And the truth be told, we don't know.
Right.
We don't know the percentage of free blacks in America, but there were free blacks, and that's never talked about. One was James Fortin. He was a millionaire. He made sales. He was a patriot during the Revolutionary War in Philadelphia. There's a lady we interviewed on this show several times, Dr. Helena Hicks. No history of slavery in her family. How the hell you know what was what? Did you go and look? And I encourage you all to go check out whatever information you can find about your family. Don't just believe some crap because somebody assumed this or assumed that. Not all black people were slaves, and not all white people were free. We got what they call it, a selective amnesia. White people came to this country, many of them did as indentured servants, which is a half step from a slave.
Yeah, there's a lack of cultural consciousness in our community.
Well,
Yeah.
when you
And
burn history books, when you rape, murder, nobody wants to remember that your great-great-granddaddy was a rapist and a murderer.
Yeah, well, I blame that lack of cultural consciousness on us. We have to be the one.
No, I ain't gonna blame us. We have been victimized.
Yeah, we have, but we still gotta convey our history and our culture to our children. We can't expect nobody else to do it, Don. And that's the problem. We've been given that authority over to somebody else, the public school system, to educate our children, assuming that they're going to educate our children about the best of us.
Only a fool would expect his enemy to educate his child.
Well, and we're not doing it though. We're not doing it. We're not doing it the way it should be done.
No, because we busy holding up Megan Thee Stallion. I ain't got nothing against Megan Thee Stallion. What baffles me is why black people lift this woman up. I mean, you have no one else for your children to look up to. You really don't.
Well, that's
and you want to tell me what she does for me and my culture? Sit your ass down.
That's the media. They control the media.
Go sit your dumb ass down. I'm sorry. I promised I was going to clean my act up. We go for some of the boneheadedest moves. We go for anything. I mean, we are really dummying down our people like this.
Mm.
Our people were giants. And you gonna
You
tell
know,
me I got to look up to a stripper? I ain't from that mob, cuz you got the wrong one. Women coming out the door with bags on their head. Your mother, did you ever see her outside the house with a bag on her head?
no. It
Never,
starts at
never,
home. Starts at home.
never. You would never see my mother in the street with no damn bag on her head. And we walk around like it's cute.
Starts at home, Donnie. We got to get back to basics, brother.
My daughter tried that with me one time, and that one time only. You ain't going nowhere with me.
That's right.
I might not have been a best daddy, but some of that dumb stuff, I ain't the one.
Nah.
I'm certainly old school, and that's what it is. That's the deal.
Well, I'm in that group with you. But the problem is we don't have enough of us in that group.
Yes, we do. We
No, we
just
don't.
get muted out by all these other voices. And that's why Father's Day is so important. I'm so glad I don't hear it no more. Them people wishing women happy Father's Day. I'm sorry you had a lousy dad, but I had a good daddy. And big ups to all the good daddies across the world.
Yeah,
We don't say that on Mother's Day.
I had a good daddy
Happy
too.
Mother's Day. We don't wish no fathers happy mother. Stop that silly stuff. That's just like women's lib movement. That was never meant for black women. Even the LGBTQ movement. They find with black people until they accomplish their goal. And it's been reported on this show. Don't make me go get witnesses how the blacks get kicked to the curb after the legislation gets passed. Racism is racism, gay or straight. There was legislation, you follow MBE. What's the name? Odette Ramos put it in to make LGBTQ a part of MBE.
Get out of here.
The only group that would benefit is gay white males because there's already MBE legislation. And once again, on the backs of black people, everybody wants to steal. Go build your own thing. We just trying to live. And that's what I say to the white people with the guns. We just trying to live. Now, if you start stockpiling guns, then we gonna start stockpiling guns.
Yeah, they
Don't
already
think you gonna come over here and shoot us, and we not gonna shoot back. Plus, these kids ain't so apologetic. They ain't like their grandfathers. They ain't got no patience. They are not afraid of much of anything. And that's where Trump, Mary Miller out of Illinois, that's where they're going with this protect white life thing. That's what she said. And that's what she meant. She said it and she meant it. And we need to get this fuzzy old picture out of our mind like, oh, did she just, yeah, she said it. Now you better protect your black life and your black son's life and your black daughter's life because they not playing. And again, we're not talking about the good white people. We're talking about that racist element that thinks this country only belongs to a certain group of people who ain't never did no damn work. We fought in every major excursion from the beginning to the end. Our people are veterans, and our people work for free. Built this country's wealth. What makes these people think they deserve it? Then they talk about their Christian nation. If this is a Christian nation, then I'm the Pope. You can say what you want. You can call yourself whatever you want, but we watching what you do.
Frederick Douglass spoke on that in his speech.
What'd he say?
How it was a hypocrisy that they tried to hide behind the veil of religiousness. That they are the most savage country in the world. Look, 170 years ago, he said that. Got to go listen to that speech. Got to teach your kids to listen to that speech. We weren't free. It was nothing to celebrate about the country yesterday. It was just a day off. But it was really nothing to celebrate. not from our community.
And why are we even talking about a re-election of Donald Trump? Why isn't he locked up? Why isn't he in jail where Jeffrey Epstein was?
He had too
How
many
do you
followers.
allow this clown, this criminal clown, to walk around?
He got too many followers, too many subordinates.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Yeah,
If you don't check that clown, he going to cause us all a world of misery. Somebody got to see. Hey, Dirk, you always been a big dude. You ain't never had nobody bully you, have you?
Nah. I had a little guy try. You know how little guys try to pick on big dudes. back in the day, little guy down on the basketball court was hanging out with Riley Hawkins back in the Bruce Lee days. and I kind of brushed him off. Man, get on out of here with that nonsense. Until he tried to take it to the next level. Then I had to put him in his place, and I had no problems with him no more. But other than that, no, I ain't had no issues, man. Plus, I had two.
The only thing a bully understand is an alley apple upside their damn head.
That's right. That's right.
I got a German Shepherd. I teach my dog to respect other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We share the field, especially you see a girl dog coming, we leaving. Let them have their peace of mind. We enjoy ours, so let somebody else enjoy theirs. Just basic decency, man. Like we all get along, but there's some people that think the world belongs to them and nobody else. A woman out there in Randallstown told me that this is a white man's world. I'm like, what kind of God do you serve? What God do you serve that has you believe in that foolishness?
Well, the
I don't give nobody that power over me. I'm a child of the King.
Mm-hmm. Well,
the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. That means I'm a citizen of the world.
She probably got a picture of him in her house.
A white Jesus?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, her stock went down a whole couple of notches when she told me that. I knew she wasn't the one for me.
Wow.
Because I don't come from a slave mentality.
Not at all. Not at all.
Just like being poor versus being broke. Being broke, as the comedian explained, is a temporary condition. Being poor, that's a state of mind. I can't do this. I can't do that. My parents never gave me that. They gave me empowerment. My daddy, when I complained to him as a young boy about racism, he said, son, do what only a black man can do. That caused a little rascal like me to get to thinking. There's something I can do that nobody else can do. Not like me. And voila, you got a Be More News. Voila, you got a blackusa.news. Because you said you were destined to be an architect.
No doubt.
I was destined to be in media. Media called me. Ain't it beautiful finding something you love to do?
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Frederick Douglass. Did you know Frederick Douglass had properties all over the country?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I knew
Marcel Humphrey exposed it on this show. Frederick Douglass had properties in Maryland and New York.
Oh, I knew he had properties in New York and Maryland, but I didn't know it was all over the country.
Harriet Tubman, well, let me not exaggerate.
Okay.
Okay, at least those two places. Harriet Tubman had properties in New York, right now in Lewiston, New York.
Right. Yeah, I knew it was New York and Maryland. Yeah, because that's where he escaped to, New York.
Why is it important to have black media, Dirk? And I say that because Michael Randolph just put this thing up about CBS. CBS does not have black people's interests in mind. And maybe CBS wants to see a Trump. But Trump is homicidal and suicidal. His methods have caused this country to go back to before slavery. And some people are okay with that. And see, you can understand why people really don't like those kinds of people. Especially for, see, here's my problem. You had a 400-year head start. You had everything given to you, but you didn't multiply your gifts and talents. And because you didn't multiply your gifts and talents, you down here in my alley buying dope. That's the problem. But every time the news come on, it's my people's faces on there as the criminals in America.
Yeah, well, let's talk about these three brothers that implemented and executed these mass shootings, not brothers, but white men, and they walked away alive. But yet you had this young black
The
man.
Trumpsters are not giving up their guns because they live in fear. They know they crud balls and they know somebody gonna bust their damn head one day. Karma's coming back around and you ain't gonna see it coming. Karma's coming. Everybody faces karma. Every nation faces karma.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep doing people a certain way without it coming back around.
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
All day long.
That's so true.
You can't sell dope and not expect somebody in your family to become a dope fiend. Somebody in your family gonna be, if you sell dope, guarantee somebody in your family gonna be a dope fiend. You carry poison, it's gonna spill on you. Now I know Big Pharma is the biggest dope dealer in America. Big Pharma. Look, you can have a weed card, but you can't have a gun card. But Big Pharma say you can pop perks all day and have a gun card. Think about that. You can have perks and a gun, but you can't smoke weed and have a gun. Because you just be too smooth and too carefree. But you can have alcohol and a gun. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms. That alcohol can kill more people than anything.
That tobacco has too.
Tobacco. So where are we, Derek? Where are we as a people, as a nation? Are we valuing education? Whatever happened out there in Baltimore County? Last time we had you on, they were messing with Darrell Williams, the school superintendent.
Now they done backed off of him a little bit.
And these are the outgoing board members who are about to get replaced.
Yeah, they done backed off of him for the moment.
And these are board members who are not black.
Exactly. And they know they was leaving, and they was trying to get rid of them before they left. But
well, Karen, go get a hobby. I mean, seriously, just why don't you go volunteer down at the homeless shelter, Our Daily Bread.
Right.
You know, what are you holding on to? And what are you going to do when you find out that one of your ancestors was black? That's what I really want to know. Because the truth is, they are.
But Donnie, look at this. Now it hasn't been said or been confirmed.
And that's a scientific fact. The San Bushmen have the oldest DNA on Earth. They are out of Southern Africa. Every race on Earth, look it up, can trace their lineage back to the San, S-A-N, Bushmen of Namibia. Oldest DNA on Earth. Okay, what you want me to check?
I don't know if we can confirm it, but you know that black leadership and education in this country has been under attack ever since Trump has been in office, because they're really afraid of this critical race theory being implemented and taught throughout the school systems. And you know, the state of Virginia, most recent governor election, the governor-elect for the state of Virginia used that as his major campaign pillar to get elected as the governor of the state of Virginia. And they have all of these subsequent organizations throughout the country that are pursuing getting rid of African Americans in higher level positions in education. And they're using it as a sub-pillar for their political agendas as well. So from my perspective, Thurl Williams was just one of those that they were attacking to try to get rid of.
But why did you hire these people if you're only gonna fire them? Why waste your own damn time? See, that tells me that these people are very much idiots. If you didn't want them, then why'd you vote for them?
No doubt.
And then at what point did you change your mind? And at what point did you look in the mirror and said that you yourself are stupid?
The point that they changed their minds is when they realized that he wasn't a shuffling hat in your hand type of brother who's gonna go along to get along and respond to everything.
Do they make those kinds of butt kisses anymore?
Well, they ain't realize
about the country. Karen, do you really think your self-defense argument has any weight?
That brother HBCU grad.
It reminds me of the brother out in New York in Central Park, and the Karen called the police on him for watching birds. Go do something with your go meditate. DMX said, go to the mosque and pray. Sheesh. You have nothing better to do with your time. You're really bored.
That's because they ain't got to work. Most of them not working.
Well, you're going to keep on messing with people. And sooner or later, the person you've been bullying is going to wait on you and wait on you and wait on you. And when you have totally forgot all about it, one day they're going to slow walk you, walk right up on you, tap you on the shoulder. Remember me? That's how karma comes, like a thief in the night. So what else going on, Derek?
Not too much, Donnie. You know, just trying to prepare myself for the next phase of life, man. You know, trying to set things up so I can live comfortably and leave a legacy. You know what I mean? That's what it's about, conveying all this.
I'm sorry, are you being coached over there? Are you being coached?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's my wife in the background.
You are being coached. Big ups, Mrs. Burnett. We appreciate you, Mrs. Burnett.
Hi, Love. How are you?
I love you. I knew the boss was in the house. See, keep you straight, boy.
Well, you know, they always say behind every great black man is a black woman, so I ain't gonna deny
No,
that.
they say beside every great black man is a great black woman.
You're right about that.
You let them other people's things slip in there.
Yeah, but other than that, Donnie, that's it, man. You know, trying to do some big things in this last quarter, this last half.
What you selling, Derek?
Selling. I guess the only thing I'm selling at this time are solar systems. Trying to sell these, trying to educate our people on the importance of acquiring your energy from the sun.
Well, you got to bring on some success stories of people who have saved, you know, $750, $1,500.
Here go one right here. I don't know if you can see it.
No, we need them to come on the show and say it.
No, this is my bill right here. What'd that say?
It's blurry, Derek.
Look at them numbers. You can see that. You see all them zeros on that electric bill? You see how much I pay BG&E at the month? What's that? $8.32. That's called a connection fee. And every month you see a zero. That's the only thing I paid BG&E was $8.32.
I don't even like BG&E. They sound like a gang.
They are. They're one of the last monopolies in the world is utility.
So what you gotta have to get solar? You gotta have a slanted roof. Can you put it on a flat roof?
I put it on flat roofs too. We can put it on flat roofs too. All you do is make the panels slanted. You put it on a slanted foundation and put it on a flat roof.
Can you do a Baltimore City row house?
All day long.
Then when did that change? Because that wasn't so at first.
It wasn't so at first. Within the last 4 or 5 years, when the industry realized they was missing a big part of the opportunity,
All right, well, you better put your phone number. What's your phone number? Because we trying to get you some sales. Because as y'all buy from Derek, he can advertise with me. That's how that cycle go. What's your phone number,
That's how
Derek?
that cycle go. 443-985-0742. Hold on, let me put something up. Here you go. Can you see that?
All right, what's the number again?
443-985-0742.
I got it right there on the screen.
We do residential solar, we do commercial solar, we do nonprofits, we do it all. And then look, you're gonna control your utility costs for the next 25, 30 years. That's unprecedented.
Hey, what fraternity you in?
I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Oh, that was your frat brother, Marvin Doc Cheatham.
That's my brother right there. That's one of my mentors. That's my cultural icon.
You know he claimed he struck Reggie Jackson out in Little League.
Reggie Jackson.
I'm going up there to Pennsylvania to interview Reggie Jackson, and I want to ask him,
Reggie Jackson ain't playing James Mosier.
He didn't say James Mosier.
Okay.
He said he struck Reggie Jackson out when they were little kids.
Where did Reggie Jackson play at?
Doc Cheatham said he played in Baltimore somewhere.
Had to be James Mosier. You know that. You're James Mosier, man. That was the biggest.
I never heard nobody mention Reggie Jackson until that conversation.
Black little league in the city.
Well, Reggie Jackson always gonna be my hero. And if you ever see me with a Yankees hat on, now you know why.
It's because
when the Orioles treated Reggie Jackson like he was a side piece, the way the Maryland Democratic Party treat black people, he left. He went to New York with Steinbrenner, and he smacked 3 home runs in one game.
I remember that.
Daggone Skippy. And when he hit them home runs, that was a shot. That was like Jack Johnson, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. The same game, the same night. That was awesome.
Howard Cosell. Oh my goodness. Reggie Jackson over the Mr. Was it Howard Cosell? I gotta go back. I just watched the YouTube. 3 home runs in one game.
Wow.
And the last one, each one of them had meaning. It was like the black man saying, yes, I can.
That's right.
Orioles treated Reggie Jackson just like they treated Frank Robinson like crap. Frank Robinson almost left Baltimore because it was so segregated. They couldn't give him nowhere to live.
I tell you something else, Donnie. You got to go to YouTube. And it was on the History Channel on Juneteenth. No, Saturday of Juneteenth, June 18th. It's a special called Life After Jackie Robinson. And they talk about the importance of Lou Brock, Kurt Flood, and Bob Gibson when they played on the Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
And how they had an awesome effect on baseball. And at the time, I think the St. Louis Cardinals, when they won the World Series, they were one of the first teams to have 4 blacks on one team. You had Lou Brock was playing. I think he was playing what, center field?
Lou Brock.
Second base. Kurt Flood was playing center field.
Outfielder.
And you had Bob Gibson was the pitcher. Bob Gibson had a 1.15 ERA for the season, not for a game, for the season.
Well, see, let me tell you, I knew when y'all started telling me about how baseball bats nowadays cost $400.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
I saw the game. The game is to price us out the game.
Well, I told you, Donnie, it's the big picture. It's to keep us out of the game. That's one thing.
See, the black players that make it, you would think they could see this and would get on to something like Cal Ripken. I have never been a Cal Ripken fan. However, that man's give back, I mean, he was giving back before LeBron James. This give back is phenomenal.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, we got a great brother that played Major League Baseball with great give back. One of the greatest athletes of all time from Baltimore County. Brother Brian Jordan.
That was Keon's boy, right?
Yes, sir. Brian Jordan was one of 3 brothers that only played professional baseball and football. Brian Jordan,
Deion Sanders,
Deion Sanders, and Bo Jackson. They
Bo
were the
Jackson.
only 3 brothers to play pro baseball and pro football. And he was from Baltimore. His family was from Turner Station. His father was from Turner Station and grew up with Calvin Hill, played football. So that's how he learned how to play football. Young brother went to University of Richmond. He was touted and recruited by University of Maryland, but Bobby Ross wouldn't let him play baseball. Said, if you come to University of Maryland, you will not be able to play baseball because you would be playing spring football. He said, well, University of Maryland is not for me. I'm going to University of Richmond where they're gonna let me play college baseball and football.
And let's just put a word in for Curt Flood.
Man, Curt Flood took it for all of the people, man. All of the major leaguers owe him a check. They owe him a check. And he was the one that first initiated free agency. Without Curt Flood, there would be no free agency. In any sport, baseball, football, basketball, all of them. All these brothers opting out of these multi-million-dollar contracts because they feel like they want to go somewhere else. Back then, professional owners of sports owned their players.
Slave owners.
Owned you. You could not
Curt
go.
Flood said, I don't like feeling like a slave.
That's right. He said, I'm not going. They tried to trade him. He made one bad play in the World Series. Cardinals lost the game. And the owners felt like, when we need to
ungrateful sums of
we need to trade him. They was trying to trade him to the worst team in the league, who was the Philadelphia Phillies, who at the time had a very racist front office. And Curt Flood says, I'm not having it. I'm not going. And he got blackballed from baseball. Now, he eventually won his case after he had turned.
But this is after he was a derelict over in Europe.
After he turned into an alcoholic.
But then he cleaned himself up. And
right.
Before he died, he watched free agency come to baseball. And the following year, it went to football. Now, Curt Flood wasn't the only one in that fight, but he was certainly the lead. So every pro athlete in the world needs to thank Curt Flood of the St. Louis Cardinals,
no doubt,
for his tenacity, standing up for black people, standing up for all people.
See, that's what I'm talking about. When you get in these positions,
he sued American baseball and won. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. When you get in these positions of personal power, you gotta have a purpose, man. That brother had a purpose. He said, I'm not having this. And you know, most of the players on his team wouldn't even back him.
No.
Because they was comfortable. They was content. They was going along to get along.
It'll never happen to me.
But yet and still, when that free agency law came into effect, all of a sudden they want to be free agents. All of a sudden everybody want to get paid. You know, so I ain't got to stay here. Let me go see if I can get more money somewhere else.
You know, that's kind of how I feel about Martin Luther King when I hear Michael Eric Dyson running his damn mouth. Did Michael Eric Dyson ever take a bullet for black people?
No. I kind of like some of the books he's written, though.
Nah, if you got to stand up by bringing up somebody else's dirt, that tells me what you are. I don't have to tear you down to build myself up. Who goes around trying to tear down MLK? I'm a Morehouse man. I ain't appreciate it. You know, like you coming clean. It's like Gail. What's Oprah friend name come on TV every morning?
Gail King.
Yeah, she went running them out. Wasn't she talking about Kobe?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Didn't she and Oprah gang rape R. Kelly on TV?
I never heard it put like that, but you're right.
That boy ain't had no chance against them.
Right.
What has she done for black people? But get up there and wear a wig every damn day.
Go along and get along. We got.
That's why I like the Today Show. They got bona fide journalists. You know, sportscaster, okay, all right, but delivering me the morning news, I want a seasoned journalist. Tamron Hall, big ups to her. She maintained her integrity. Soledad O'Brien, the same thing. Black people, you don't have to be a step infection unless you choose to be.
That's right.
Nobody's holding a gun on you saying you can start your own. I started my own.
Right. Right. That's right. That's what it's all about. Entrepreneurship. We got to teach that, Don. That should be
that's why you will always curriculum. That's why you will always see. I'm sorry.
That should be a part of the school's educational curriculum, an opportunity to understand entrepreneurship.
That's what our HBCUs need to be teaching.
Well, they do teach that habit.
A lot of times they teach a cat to get a job.
Yeah, they do.
Teaching that entrepreneurship.
You're right about that. They do.
And I'm thinking about Morgan.
I think Morgan doesn't have entrepreneurship program.
They got a serious business school.
They do. Serious engineering school.
Serious journalism school.
Yeah, they do.
But if you ain't building more Earl Graves, it's like the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. Reginald F. Lewis was a deal maker.
And an HBCU grad.
Down in Virginia.
That's right.
He was a hustler.
That's right.
He was not a beggar. He was not a tail. He was a head. A lot of times we misunderstand the legacies before us.
That come from a lack of education, Don.
A lack of knowledge of self. A lot of us don't know who we are.
Lack of cultural consciousness.
That's why they had Sunday school to teach us stuff that we didn't get. A lot of people ain't learn how to read and write except for Sunday school. It wasn't just a Christian story.
So we need to implement a cultural conscious curriculum in the after school programs and half a day on Saturday in our community. Because everybody else's culture is teaching about their cultures to their kids to ensure they don't forget.
And we need ours so that when they tell us that we can't teach Black history in school, we can say, don't worry, we done taught them our children anyway. That's Doc, right. We're going to leave your number up there. Tell them what you provide. Tell them the name of your company. Do a plug, and we're going to get on out of here.
Green Brilliant Solar. We do residential, commercial. Green Brilliant Solar. Residential, commercial, solar farms, flat roofs, slant roofs. We'll figure it out. We even do a ground mount. If we can't fix it on your roof, if you got enough land, we'll put it in your yard. Give me a call. Let us take care of you. Let us get rid of that bill that you have for the next 25 years. We not only allow you to save money with solar, but you'll have an opportunity to make money in solar. And the only way I can get into those details with you, you got to give me a call. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate you. Love you, brother. Take care. Stay safe and peaceful out there.
Thank you, sir. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, world.
Peace.